YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel, Anna Bella, and today I am doing my Bible stack, what I'm going to be reading for 2026. Okay, yeah, read the Bible, they said. It would be fun, they said. Look how much stuff I've now got. Right, just so you know, I'm on book 10. I'm like halfway through this. This is Kings 1, Kings 2, and John, and Proverbs, a little bit of Proverbs at that. So I'm finishing this one off because it's book 10, and then I've got 11 and 12, and then that series will be done. And I'm using the NIV, Young Explorer Bible, for that one, purely because I am. This one is Youth Ethics, Christian Ethics for Youth, which is a study of Proverbs, and I'm on Unit 5 out of 5 on that. So you read a little chapter in this book, and then they've also organised the Proverbs for you in themes, which makes it handy, and then you do some work in there. It's been brilliant. Proverbs, 32 chapters, 3 different types of similes, brilliant. Obviously, I've got my little compact, ultra-thin Bible for teens, and I started to use that one to support that, as well as my good old King James here. Got a short guide to the Bible. Never go wrong with that. That's like a little overview, and I've done a review of that. It's just really, really good. So, like, before you get in to it, you can just flip to it and say, is it a history book? Is it a letter? You know, that's for the New Testament. Or in the Old Testament, is it a history book? Is it poetry and wisdom? Is it prophets? You know, just a little deep, short little dive in art, so you know where you're going and what you're doing. Because it's basically a library. People say, read the Bible. I'm like, it's not just one book. It's not got one author. All the different authors have a different theme to what they're writing about. They didn't know they were going to spill stuff together like this at all, that they didn't. And the folks in the Book of Mormon, their work has actually been abridged by Mormon. Yeah, depending on what you believe. So their original work has actually been shortened. Yeah. And the Book of Mormon focuses on the spiritual Old Testament. Some of it is questionable, and I wouldn't use it as history, and I certainly wouldn't use it as science, because it's not, it's a religious text. Doctrine and Covenants is what we did for Comefollowme last year. This year it is Old Testament. So I will be using, this is the nice journal edition full of padding, and then I've also branched out into Shannon Foster, who also did the lovely Book of Mormon study guide that was a doodle one that I really liked. I got her children's one on this because it focuses on just one of the 3 topics. So, and you can use nice chunky crayons in here, which is always good. Chunky crayons, chunky crayons. So, it's got a really annoying QR code that takes you to Old Testament songs, like all the books in the Old Testament song from the children's songbook in an annoying American accent, just what I wanted, not. But it's got cute little mark your scripture. So, the beginning of Moses, so which is in Luke. Yay, Luke is talking about Moses, which is an New Testament, Old Testament. Yeah, it's a thing. And then I did sort of like match a prophet, which is kind of fun. And then can you find them? And then they've got this really cute break the code. And it's basically all the books in the Bible, and you're using these codes, which is fun, you know, because why? So that's quite cool. That's just the intro bit. What I do want to talk about is, it's very similar to the Action Bible devotional, but the Action Bible is a little bit more sophisticated, purely because it's written by, or the drawings are done by a DC artist. So you've got your story, read Adam and Eve there, then you do your key verse, mission, debrief, mission accepted, big picture page, moving on to Noah, etc., etc. And that's the stories, whereas this is very doctrinal points, because in LDS culture, when we read the scripture, we're looking for doctrine or a point, and choose what matters most. Jesus created the world, you're a child of God, that kind of thing. And in here, they've distilled, because there are 3 points to every month's, or every week's Come Follow Me. And in this, they've just taken 1 point, so it's slightly easier. Whereas in this bad boy, you get here and you've got the adult bit, which is at the top. The youth bit also has 3, which has got like the little book. And then you go, I don't just love a ring bound, I do. Then you go to the back and it's ideas for teaching children. You've got 1, 2, 3 points there. So this is much better because it's just 1 point at a time. Because sometimes cognitive overload. she says while she's looking at all of this. Yeah. Okay, Pearl of Great Price is an interesting one. And why on earth are talking about that when I'm reading about the Old Testament? Well, in LDS culture and tradition, we do Moses and Abraham and then Genesis. So Genesis really sort of kicks in here. So Sodom and Gomorrah. Before that, we're in this lovely book called The Pearl of Great Price. What on earth is that? It's an unusual book because Doctrine and Covenants is basically your American Victorian 1830 general handbook for the church. Then you've got the Book of Mormon, which is an additional witness of Christ. And you've got the Old Testament, New Testament, very standard. And then right at the back, if we can find it, we have this little collection of stuff that was actually put together in Liverpool, of all places. So it was first published in 1851 in Liverpool, UK. So the Pearl of Great Price, and it contains sections from the Book of Moses, the Book of Abraham, which is from the papyrus that Joseph Smith found, not getting into that. Then you've got Joseph Smith history, which is basically his life, and then the Articles of Faith. The Articles of Faith are really important because that basically is like the creed of LDS. If anybody wanted to know basic beliefs of the LDS Church, I'd say read the Articles of Faith. Joseph Smith history also covers Joseph Smith's first vision, and I know there are 5 different versions of it, but hey, he was a 30-year-old looking back to when he was 12. So what can you do? And you've got Joseph Smith Matthew. Now, him and Sidney Rigdon, who was also in the First Presidency at the time, were basically doing a translation of the whole Bible. So all of the Old Testament, all of the New Testament. Emma Smith took that after Joseph Smith's death and gave it to the reorganised church of the reorganised LDS, which are now the Community of Christ. So the church in Utah doesn't actually have that as a copy. We have bits of it, we don't have the full, hence where the Book of Moses and Matthew come from, and then the Book of Abraham comes from the papyrus. So it's basically covers like core beliefs and guidance for members. It's really, really short, and it was canonized in 1880 as scripture. Shocker, look at my terrible handwriting. Anyway, moving on from terrible handwriting. So that's basically what this is, and we sort of use it as the first, like the Book of Moses and the Book of Abraham, we stick it on the front of Genesis, basically. So when we read the Old Testament, we read that. See? Moses and Abraham. Moses learns he's a child of God. The creation, we've got like 4 or 5 different versions because everything was created spiritually before it was created physically, and on and on and on it goes. It's just like a never-ending thing. You've got the choice in Eden. You've got a bit more about Enoch. Why not? The people of Zion lived in peace. Noah builds the ark, and then God's covenant with Abraham. So we spend actually a lot of time not talking about the creation. I know that sounds bonkers, doesn't it? So we've got this. So when God and Moses talked face to face, then you've got the creation. Then you've got the choice in Eden. Interesting. We've got Satan being played by a bloke. And you've got follow the prophet, so Enoch is called as a prophet. Got a little bit more about that. And then the people of Zion live in peace. And then Noah builds the ark. So that's when when do we get to proper Genesis? Oh, you are part of the Abrahamic family, the covenant, Sodom and Gomorrah. So this is when it really kicks in. Esau and Jacob. So that's when we're like in proper Genesis now, without the Pearl of Great Price support. I know that sounds kind of strange and odd. So, yeah. That's basically that one. And then this. Where are we with this? Because it's quite fun. So, we are... second part of Kings. And then some Proverbs reading. Job done. So, that, and that. So that's basically what I'm planning to do. I'm going to be using this one, a bit of that, I think, a bit of this. And then I've got these 2 that I may or may not introduce, depending on whether I found my laminating pouches, because I really want to laminate, because this one has artwork that needs ripping out and laminating. So yeah, so that is basically my Bible stack review for what I'm going to be doing for Bible reading this year. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks so much for the support. I will be doing a review on each of these in another video as well as those other 2 Bibles. I've been saying that for ages, but I will be getting around to it, and I will be doing a review of the Leah Hona and Strength for Youth November magazine. I need to get on with that. Anyway, thank you so much for the support, and Happy New Year to you all. Bye.